I am a terrible barista. What's more important than the fact I'm terrible is why. See, I can make drinks, but I'm terrible because I couldn't frickin' care less about being a barista. And as much as I tried to hide that back when I wore the apron, sad to say, it made me kind of an angry barista. Thanksgiving, 2005, there I am, 4 a.m. in the morning. Open in the coffee shop, it's cold, it's dark, I don't want to be there, I'm already annoyed. But do you know what everyone who's not wearing an apron is doing on Thanksgiving in America? They're coming to get coffee. From me. For their whole family and apparently the rest of the neighborhood. Hi, I'll have 23 lattes, please. Yeah, I bet you will. Me fuming behind the counter. Nobody wants an angry barista. But there's a much bigger problem than my lack of interest in making you a caffeinated beverage. You see, since I hung up my apron many years ago, I've been studying the way we work in general. And the reality is, most of us are baristas who don't want to be. Turns out, there's a highly scientific term for the way we feel about work. Meh. Deloitte says 87% of us feel this way or worse about this thing called work. Depression is the leading cause of disability in the world. Sitting is the new smoking. Burnout at work is an epidemic. Headlines like these are everywhere, but frankly, I don't know that they impact us that much anymore because at some level we expect these things to be true. We fully expect work to hurt us. And for most of us humans, that's exactly what it does. It's like work has become an illness we can't get rid of, and it's making the whole world sick. And we're sick with stress because we're burned out and exhausted, and at the same time, we're sick with boredom because we don't like what we're doing. It doesn't have to be this way. Work can heal the world. But for this to be possible, we need to think about work very differently. And I find it's helpful if we understand the way we work through the metaphor of an operating system. At a basic level, an operating system, or OS, is that thing that runs on my phone in the background and makes it work. And you might not be waking up in the middle of the night excited about the operating system on your phone, but it's vitally important because even though we ignore it, that operating system dictates how everything on that device works. Organizations, they run operating systems too, and just like on our device, the operating system dictates how we work. Now, on your device or at work, the operating system is supposed to, it can coordinate a lot of moving parts so things run efficiently and with as little friction as possible. Sadly, that's the opposite of what today's work OS does. At this point in history, we understand pretty clearly that engaged and inspired people do better work. But with that understanding, we see a different angle on this 87%. We see that what this actually means is that the current work operating system's only running at 13% efficiency. We're only getting the best ideas and the best effort from 13% of our people. Any other technology at work that did that would be immediately thrown out. But that said, there's also something delightfully surprising happening inside work. Because in spite of this system that is utterly failing us, work isn't always painful. There's something about energizing work that is deeply meaningful. When we get to do work that makes us feel like a craftsperson, like we're building something that will make the world better, that is a peak human experience, and work can give that to us. But for that to happen regularly, we can't just keep putting patches on the operating system we have. We need a fundamentally different operating system. Because the system we have is producing exactly what it's been designed to produce. That's what systems do. And as such, it is incapable of creating the kind of world we want for our kids. These are my kids. Right now they're 3 and 5, but if you agree to help with this, however you can, I don't think it's crazy to think that by the time these two ladies are looking for work, it'll be a little easier for them to find a job that lets them be the best version of them. Work is central to so much of our lives. If we upgrade the way we work, it will bring a sense of life and energy and healing that we can barely imagine. So what if we had a work operating system that wasn't designed to dehumanize and run deeply and efficiently, but instead was designed to help you be at your best as often as possible? Each person being at their best at work regularly is the key that unlocks a better system, because when you are at your best, you don't just feel better, you are better. You're more attentive, you're more focused, and this allows you to do the best work of your life. It's closely related to a state called flow, which is, as far as we can tell, is kind of like the holy grail of human performance. So whether we're talking about increasing the efficiency of the system or increasing your personal well-being, the solution is the same. Each person at their best as often as possible at work. And having a system that gets people into that zone regularly is what we need. Organizations that do this use what I call an energy-based operating system, simply because it's centered around what gives the organization all of its power anyway, the vast potential energy waiting to be unleashed from each amazing person. And here's the really cool part. This isn't a fictional creature. These aren't just big tech companies with loads of money. They're not just flatter. In fact, this isn't a new idea at all. It's just not a very well-known idea. They might not be using this specific energy-based language, but these are all organizations, some big and some smaller, stretching across almost all industries all over the world, either headed swiftly in this direction or have already been practicing this path for many decades. But I recognize right now these are still outliers. Most of us are still deeply disconnected from this thing called work because we live inside an organization using the old operating system. So, will you help? Will you join this movement to upgrade our organizations so they can be a force for healing in our world? I want to make it really easy for you to help with this. There's 3 things we need to hack and replace the old system with an energy-based one. We need a magnet, we need riverbanks, and we need open batteries. I don't mean any of those things literally, of course, so let me explain. First of all, a magnet. More specifically, a people magnet. In practice, a people magnet is a noble cause. It's something we can rally around and gravitate towards. It has to be bigger than just making money, and it's usually very different than what organizations today call mission, purpose, or vision. Those things are fine, but typically they don't compel people to even remember them, much less rally around them with some kind of revolutionary fervor. No, the hack we're installing here has to have enough magnetic gravitational pull that it can serve as the singular boss for all of us. This is essential because it helps us get rid of part of the old technology called top-down command hierarchy. I know it's difficult to imagine work without top-down command hierarchy, but this is exactly what the organizations I showed you earlier are doing. And it's essential we move beyond that old way of working, because in the United States alone, we lose $3 trillion, with a T, trillion dollars of economic output every single year by propping up just the hierarchy part of the old operating system. But when we have a powerful enough magnet, we can start to let go of that outdated way of working, because we can all serve at the pleasure of the noble cause. That's the kind of magnet we need. Second, we need riverbanks. In practice, riverbanks are collectively agreed upon principles that describe how we're going to all move in a coordinated way towards that cause. You can create these in all kinds of ways: illustrated handbooks, slideshows, websites. The medium doesn't matter that much. What matters is that you need a medium. It needs to be taken out of people's heads and externalized into some kind of physical, tangible form. Once they exist in the real world, they can start to act as guardrails, as riverbanks that coordinate our flow. This is important Because in our organizations today, there's a tremendous amount of friction. Friction between me and the work I think I'm supposed to do but don't really want to do, and friction between colleagues and people at different points on the hierarchy. Friction is everywhere in the modern organization. It's one of the reasons why work feels so hard. But good riverbanks reduce friction, allowing ideas and dialogue to flow constructively and freely. Magnet, riverbanks. And third, and perhaps most importantly, because you can do this no matter your role or position, open batteries. Earlier, I mentioned that each person being their best at work regularly is the key that unlocks a better system. Open batteries make this possible. We all have a kind of internal battery that keeps us going throughout our day and then needs to be recharged at night when we sleep. But what we've discovered is that no two batteries are alike. Your battery is like your fingerprint, completely unique to you. There's a unique combination of activities that light you up and give you power and energy at work to do your best, and that combination is different than the combination that lights me up, or the person next to you, or anyone else in the world. But we know surprisingly little about the ingredients of these batteries, but with a little attention, we can open them up and start to understand the ingredients of what makes us at our best. This is a practice we call building energy intelligence. And this is a vitally important hack to the old system because right now, even if you're experiencing great times at work, as you almost certainly are at least once in a while, those times are happening by chance. We don't know how to replicate them. So most days we just go to work and we hope for the best and we hope it's going to be a great day, but we do a lot of things and we work really hard, and by the end of the day our battery is drained and I go home exhausted and not in a good way. That's an indicator that I'm not even close to the optimal use of my time and energy at work, but it's also an indicator as to why work is the perfect place for healing to begin. It's the ideal venue for us to discover where we're at our best because we are at work more than we are anywhere else in the world. And as we learn the ingredients of our battery, we build our self-confidence. And we tap into intrinsic motivation. And this allows us to be more present, more resilient, more patient, and actually offer the best ideas we have to the people we work with the most. Magnet, riverbanks, open batteries. Together, these things allow energy to flow hyper-efficiently through an energy-based operating system at work. You can start to hack and replace the old system with just these three things, and all it will cost you to get started, which I'm not minimizing, is a bit of deep thoughtfulness. Remember, by design, an energy-based approach is simple. It's going to be more about unlearning bad habits we've picked up from being in the old system than it is about learning a bunch of new things. So one more thought as I close. I've been talking about putting energy at the center of the way we work, and right now that might feel a bit revolutionary, but what if it's not? What if it's just returning us to the way things already are? The future of work can and should be heliocentric, orbiting what gives us life and energy. This is the way the universe is already designed. I'm just suggesting it's time for our organizations to do that same thing. So, go, get curious, research this further, and spread this idea. The first step is enough of us believing it's possible for work to be one of the best parts of our lives. Most importantly, go try something. Run an experiment in your sphere of influence, whatever that is, because let's be honest, the world will be a much better place when there are happy baristas everywhere. Thank you.